Forget all of the swirling controversy of last week, because Overwatch is just a great game. Blizzard are coming into the multiplayer shooter genre with a bang, and they're hitting PC, PS4 and Xbox One consoles. And while you can see bits and pieces of other games and other genres in the mix, there's just something about it being a Blizzard game and having that particular Blizzard feeling to it that makes it a good game and fun and interesting to play. What you're seeing in the background is the PlayStation version of the game in action, and while it might not match the absolute graphical peaks of the PC version, I think it's easy to see that the art style really works excellently on console. It's bright, it's colourful, and it's always going to help that it's running at a basically flawless 60 frames per second from what I can tell. So it's a hero shooter, and we hear that term bandied around quite a bit at the moment, but the games that come from this loose genre can be very different depending on the developer. On the surface, if you just look at the fact that Overwatch is also a first-person shooter, and that it's got hero characters to choose from, that sounds similar. But the actual game and the structure is completely different. The best comparisons that you can make to Overwatch in terms of how it actually plays is possibly the class-based warfare of Team Fortress 2. A lot of that feeling also comes from the map design and the game modes. You're taken to all the corners of this far future version of Earth, and you've got the two teams of 6 fighting to attack and defend a pair of control points in the assault game mode. They'll try and escort or defend from a dangerous payload in escort, or they'll be engaging in round-based King of the Hill style mode in Control. They're not particularly new game modes, but they are done very well. You've got the pressure of the clock counting down or the control percentage rising in the top of the screen, and the scramble to keep things going just that little bit longer when the game reaches those final seconds and it goes into overtime, which gives the losing team that one final last-ditch opportunity to turn things around. That's just a great feeling. These game modes would work well regardless of the trappings of the shooter, but Overwatch's wide cast of 21 characters make this into a very broad and varied kind of class-based shooter. Blizzard actually call the 4 overarching character types roles as opposed to classes though. So you've got the offense characters who are all about getting up close and personal and dealing a lot of damage quickly. You've got the defense, who are generally more distant and standoffish. Some of them have got remote abilities as well, while the tanks can just go in there and soak up or neutralise incoming damage, while dealing plenty of their own. Finally, the support characters back all of this up with their healing abilities, but they do so whilst also having plenty capability to dish out a bit of damage as well. So a good example of the offensive role is Tracer, and she is the game's most prominently featured character in the advertising and the billboards and all this stuff. And it's her posterior which was at the heart of last week's ridiculous furore. Overly stereotypical British accent aside, she's actually a very cool and fun character to play as. She's got twin machine pistols, the ability to dash forward, and the ability to rewind her own time and step back to where she was a few seconds before. In the right hand, she can be a really tricky character to play against, and her ultimate ability, is a bomb that explodes a few seconds after it's dropped, and that means that you can, if you're very good at her character, you can dash in there, drop it very close to a few enemy characters and get back out again in a matter of seconds. If you manage to pull that off, she's just a lot of fun to play. Torbjorn places turrets, Bastion turns into a turret, Hanzo shoots arrows, Mei freezes people and makes walls of ice, which can there's just so many to choose from, and there's almost bound to be a character that you like the look of and that suits how you want to play. The one thing that's maybe lacking at the moment is the kind of progression that you see in Call of Duty and Battlefield and stuff like that. You're not unlocking guns because these characters are set in stone. So you don't have this prospect of new weapons and new characters in order to hook people in and get them to play the game for longer. But a recent patch to the closed beta on PC has seen Blizzard give each character new skins, tags and different poses to unlock through a loot crate system. Some of these skins completely alter the look of the characters, and Blizzard are using these as an opportunity to kind of flesh out the game's overall universe and story. This is a multiplayer game through and through, and it's these kinds of details and these kind of touchstones of story that are going to come out through these skins, but also through comics, novels, and the animated shorts, some of which have already sprung up. But really, it all comes down to the game. And with so many of the genres that Blizzard touches and tries to make their own, it plays well, it looks good, and there's already a lot of interest and hype to it. Some PC players have already been able to play the game in closed beta for the last few months, but with release coming on May 24th across all 3 platforms, Blizzard are opening the gates to everybody with an open beta at the start of May. You can pre-order the game to get playing on May 3rd, but that is just a prelude and a ramping up to the full open beta, which will run on May 5th to May 9th and is open to everybody. So you should definitely try and play the game just to see if it's your kind of thing. As always, head over to the6thAxis.com for more previews like this and other video games news and reviews, and please do take a second to think about if you'd want to click the like and the subscribe buttons just to see more videos like this and hear about when they're coming out. But until next time, goodbye.